Okay, welcome to the Personnel Committee of January 30th, 2019 for Albany County. I'm your chairman, Mark Grimm. Vice Chair Lynn Lakakis is to my left. Sean Ward.
Sean Ward here.
Rick Touche. Raymond Joyce.
Here.
Allison McLean Lane.
Here.
Lucille McKnight. Joseph O'Brien. Travis Stevens.
Here.
Okay, we have quorum, approval of the minutes. Everyone have a chance to look them over. Motion to approve
Agenda.
by Mr. Ward and Ms. McLean Lane, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, item 1 on the agenda. Requiring Department of Human Resources to initiate a pay equity study. Is the sponsor here? Is absent. All right, it's tabled. Item 2, resolution promoting Albany County employment and promoting a diverse workforce by requiring civil service to conduct outreach. Sponsor is absent, tabled. Item 3, adopting policy regarding the legislative summer internship program. Anyone here to speak to that? No? It's tabled. Item 4, amending the rules and regulations for longevity pay. That's withdrawn by the sponsor. Item 5, authorizing the Department of Social Services to consider out-of-county applicants for the position of registered nurse.
This can actually be withdrawn. I believe a request was put into the Jury Council to confirm.
It was, yes.
Thank you.
Next, withdrawn. Okay. Item 6, authorizing the Public Defender's Office to consider out-of-county applicants for the position of Assistant Albany County Public Defenders. All right. Stephen Herrick, Public Defender's Office. Tell us a little bit about this idea, if you would, Mr. Herrick.
Members of the committee, thank you for hearing me tonight. This application is on because of the impediment that I've experienced over the last 2 years that I've been public defender of recruiting highly qualified assistant public defenders. This has been exacerbated by the Office of Indigent Legal Services that has recommended to the county that we actually double the size of our attorney workforce between now and March 31 of 2024. And a similar recommendation, the numbers are different, has gone out to virtually every other county in the state and the 7 boroughs in New York City. So we're all recruiting out of the same pool of attorneys that are admitted in New York State that want to practice criminal law and want to work for the public defender of the county. The situation is in New York State, and I know this from being a member of the Chief Defenders Association and other groups in the state. There's no other county that has a restriction similar to that in Albany that I am aware of. Mr. William Leahy, the head of Office of Indigent Legal Services for the state, has strongly recommended to me and to the Albany County executive team that we get on equal footing with the other counties, because we'll be competing against them to hire attorneys statewide. We have recruited over the last almost 2 years with this in mind through Albany Law School. I've done a job fair at University of Buffalo Law School. We've recruited through the bar associations and through the Times Union, and I think it's monster.com. And we've gotten many resumes, and I have those with me, but the majority of them are from out of county, and a lot of those are from out of state. The people they live out of county or state. They are admitted to practice in New York State. They're willing to move to Albany County, but they currently reside out of the county. I have situations where right now someone just resigned from the office in family court, and they'll be gone on February 8th, and I cannot find anybody in the large pool of people that I have interviewed that lives in Albany County that is interested in working in family court as an assistant public defender. What I'm asking is that on a one-year trial basis, that the county waive the requirement and set I had asked for a year in the letter for legislative review and consideration, 6 months to a year, and I think it would depend on the circumstances. If we had a good basis to go higher than 6 months, but not more than a year to get into the county, to move into the county, that would work and be reviewable a year from now by the legislature to see whether it was still necessary. But this approach goes through 2023 into 2024 and will be competing. The budget that you just passed has 5 positions that are going to be paid for, reimbursed by Office of Indigent Legal Services. But I have other vacancies right now that I'm trying to fill, and every other county's in a similar situation. I think at the budget meeting that we had, Mr. Grimm, where you indicated that you'd like to see more incentives in addition to salaries to attract people. I'm not saying that getting rid of this requirement, it would be something to attract people, but currently it's certainly detrimental to all of our efforts to try to recruit. So I would respectfully request that on a one-year trial basis that the legislature consider waiving this for this. My application is made on behalf of the Public Defender's Office. The conflict defender, the alternative public defender, is requested to be included in this as well. They have a much smaller group that they'll be hiring for, but they're still competing. They have the vacancy now that they've been trying to fill unsuccessfully for a period of weeks. But I would request your favorable consideration.
Okay, thank you. Committee questions?
Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you so much for coming down Allison McLean Lane. Just a quick question, I just want to clarify. When you say waiving, we're going to give these individuals a reasonable period of time if proposed to move in?
Absolutely.
And you're proposing a one-year
I'm proposing a one-year maximum,
okay.
but
Minimum
not less
of
than
6
6 months.
Yeah, okay, all right.
How long is your probationary period in your office?
I'm not sure there really is a probationary
Okay,
period. I inquired because I had someone I wasn't totally satisfied with, and I was told that HR would deal with it. But I believe it's a year. If you're here for 5 years, then you have civil service protection.
Because that certainly would impact whether one.
Yeah, you're not asking for them not to be county residents, you're only asking them to
No.
get up to a year.
Up to a year to get in.
And currently, they have to be.
They have to be a resident at the
day
time they start, day
yeah.
one.
Imagine getting a new job and having to move at the same time.
Absolutely.
Well, this is basically,
Yeah,
sorry,
Mr. Ward.
Chairman, this is basically what we did until about 5 years ago.
Right.
Where you did it a year.
It was deputies, I think, that messed everything up.
So look, let me ask the committee members throughout the county, do you think it's reasonable to go to this plan for all the agencies and give people a chance to move rather than having, to be moving right away?
Well,
What do you think? Yeah, Mr. Wood, yep.
This is, residency requirements are near and dear to my heart. We have 300,000+ people living in Albany County, and they should have an opportunity at these jobs. And there have been positions over the years where we've had a hard time filling. This is the first time I've heard that with attorneys, but I think you made a reasonable argument for us to make this waiver for 1 year. But there are certain positions we have a hard time filling, and I think it's reasonable for the Personnel Committee to grant a waiver in those situations. But I don't think we should have a blanket policy of changing the rules when there are positions where there's a lot of people looking for those jobs in county.
Yeah. And these people are willing to move become Albany County residents, so they
Correct.
just need a certain amount of time.
Yeah, it's different per department too. In the nursing home, the CNAs and things, it's a real struggle. I mean, the pay factor comes into play too,
Sure.
as you compete for other, private homes and things like that, so.
Ms. McLean?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And we did run into an issue a while back. I mean, the issue would be then, if we did this blanketed, is then we have to certify that people are living here, and hope they didn't just get an apartment and give them an address, and then we're investigating our employees, and then are we really chasing, is that a valuable, this is a small enough pool, I think, where we're not countywide, checking all the new hires. But obviously, I'm well aware that, there's also a shortage, we should also mention, and I just read about this, I think it was in the New York Law Journal, that there is a shortage of attorneys in New York State, if you can believe it, because I feel like that's not the case in Albany County, but.
And most of them don't want to be assistant public defender.
Exactly.
I don't know why, but
I know, but I did read about this, and it is an issue, and going forward, it will become more and more of an issue, so.
Okay.
Does anybody recall with the nursing, when they were granted the waiver for the nurse positions do they have to move in, or is that just a waiver that they don't have to, they can be out-of-county
We
residents?
granted a waiver.
It's a waiver just for out-of-county residents,
Correct.
period.
But no stipulation to move in.
There's no stipulation to move in.
That's correct. But the rule that we had in place about 5 years ago.
No, I understand that, yeah.
Here with
I'm just going by what we've
Judge
done in the
Merritt's
last,
proposal, yeah.
that was done with no waiver, or no stipulation.
I think I favor that ultimately people would have to live here. But I also support the fact that it takes a while, and because we're a capital region where, if you go on 787 in the morning, you can see all the cars coming in from East Greenbush, and, there's a lot of people around here that don't live in Albany County that work in Albany County, so why not require them to move in if they do, but give them time to do that, because if they're professional job, you have trappings of a professional life, you have houses and families and things like that, and
I do think we want to get the best candidates we can. I think that serves the taxpayer and it serves our clients. And especially if they're willing to move and become Albany County residents, because I do think that residency is really important. So it's a tough call. Yeah, Ms. Williams.
Okay. I'm looking at this, and it's, the starting salary is 56,000.
Is what?
56,000.
the starting assistant, when I wrote the letter, it was 50, it went up to 58 right now, the 2%. And the assistant public defender 1 has a maximum start at 65.
Oh,
Okay?
So,
And that is where, that's being funded or reimbursed by ILS, that increase. But that's not where the new hires are going to be. The new hires will be probably slightly less than 65, 62.5.
oh, okay. So, but the other thing here, even how much of a student loan can an attorney have that they won't come for the forgiveness program?
Well, they can get that in other counties.
We have some lawyers that can answer that question. Go ahead.
And they're still paying, the interest rate is 7% on student loans. It's usurious.
It's a crime.
And
It is a crime.
And they still have to pay the student loan, they just get a better rate until they've worked.
Oh, it's not a forgiveness
Oh,
program.
It is-
well, it
no.
says
And-
forgiveness, so
And
I'm like,
after, you have to work 10 years
can't run the
straight,
door
right?
down
So
trying to
that's
get
the
$6,000
regulation.
interest, That's about it.
oh, oh.
Okay,
Obviously, you never
all
had
right,
a
so I think-
12%
I
mortgage.
think that- Go ahead.
No, I did, but only for a very
Comment,
short
just to
period of
follow
time.
up on what Vice Chair had stated, is that one of the things I think you have also mentioned when you've spoken in the past is related to retention
Yeah.
and having an obligation for them to have to move in. I think that's a real commitment, and I would assume that getting another attorney up to speed again and then up to speed again must, and also it's not very helpful for, the clients they end up being paired up with.
Right.
So I just wanted to add that comment.
Yeah, I think there's a consensus.
It's on
that
you.
It should be Albany County residents that want to work in Albany County. But I also feel like,
I believe that too, Mr.
yeah, I know. So I also feel like if we gave them a little more time, we might be able to attract more people who are really willing to be Albany County residents. For purposes tonight, are there any objections to what Mr. Herrick has proposed? No, okay. This is something maybe we can revisit down the road, okay? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to move.
Mr. Joyce, seconded by Mr. Ward, all in favor? Opposed, unanimous? Thank you,
Thank you
Mayor.
very much.
Okay, a motion to adjourn. Been Lane, seconded by Mr. Ward. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I've always wanted to
Have a good night, everyone.
adjourn.